Alright, guys, I'm gonna give you a full story. Some of you have heard it already, but most of you have not, alright? I'll just play some game meanwhile. Started about 8 days ago. So, again, some of you may have seen these posts. If you've seen it, I'm sorry that you're hearing the same thing twice, alright? Basically what happened was, first things first, one night, about 7, 8, 9 days ago, I don't know how long it's been. It's been honestly a fucking disaster, so my days were blending in, dude. So, women wakes up at like 3 a.m. and I just got to bed. Wakes up at 3:30. I just got to bed. And she's like, oh, I'm not feeling well, you know, and I'm like, oh, do you want me to bring you some medicine? She's like, no, I think I'll be fine. 20 minutes later, she proceeds to projectile vomit. And she's like, oh, I feel better, you know, and we're like, oh, what do you think it is? Did you eat something bad? You know, nah, but I feel better. Great. I go to bed. We go back to bed. We fall asleep. I wake up an hour later to Marika in the bathroom. Again. So I'm just like, oh shit, you know? So, you know when you wake up, you're like, oh shit. So I get up and I'm like, are you okay? And she's like, I don't know, I'm in pain. My stomach is hurting. And like, I keep getting urges to, you know, keep, you know? So I'm like, okay, like, what do you want to do? Did you drink some medicine? She's like, yes, you know, it's already out. So I'm like, okay. So I'm like, okay, I'll stay up. If you want, we can go to the ER. So I sit down and she's like, we should go to the ER. Okay, we go to the ER at 4:30 a.m. And she's in a lot of pain. Obviously, she can't keep any medicine down, and we go to the ER. They give her an injection to help her, to prevent like the urges for, you know, vomiting, and to like help her with like pain and all that. They do an exam. Turns out she has back pain, which and no, by the way, she's not pregnant. I already saw comments. She has back pain. Yeah, she had nausea, stomach pain, and so on and so forth. So they do a test, which is basically like a simple test. You like hit a kidney from the back, and if you get a big pain, it's most likely kidney stones. So turns out she has kidney stones. That doesn't explain the vomiting and the nausea, because she had kidney stones many times before. She gets them like once a year. We tested for it. They don't know what it. They just said it's gonna keep happening. I don't know. Whatever. Doesn't matter. So she's vomiting, right? And she has kidney stones. So they give her the medicine and they tell her it should be fine. You just, you know, eat lighter food. You know, whatever. If the pain comes back, you can call and come again. Okay, we go home. She gets the stuff they gave her, and I'm like, okay, I'll go to the pharmacy at 8 a.m. We get home at like 5:30 a.m. and I'm like, I'll go to the pharmacy. I'll get you meds. She's like, I feel good. I'm like, do you want me to go find pharmacy now? She's like, no, I feel fine. Don't worry about it. I'm like, okay. She goes back to bed, and at that point I can't sleep because I slept an hour and I got woken up. So I'm like, fuck it, I'll just stay up. So I stay up, and 7 a.m. arrives. I get the medicine. I give her the medicine. She wakes up. She only slept a few hours. She wakes up. I give her the medicine. She drinks them. Within a minute, she pukes. She then proceeds to puke like 3 more times, but there's nothing to puke. She's just getting the urges to like. So she can't retain any water. Like I gave her water on a spoon. She instantly, you know, not working. And she's like, I'm in pain again. I'm in pain. I'm like, okay, let's go to the ER. I can't help you, right? We go to the ER again. And, you know, she explains the symptoms. Obviously, it's a different doctor because it's in the ER. She explains the symptoms, yada, yada. They send her to a nearby hospital to go do some tests. So this was around 8:39. We proceed to stay at the hospital until 5 p.m. And obviously, because she's a foreigner and she doesn't speak Serbian that well to talk to doctors and so on, you know, I was there the whole time, right? So she's in pain. We're waiting for like fucking tests. We're waiting for queues. Because apparently there's like a stomach virus that's been going on, and apparently everyone fucking has it, and their mom. So we're there and we're waiting. She's in pain and we're just there, and I'm walking back and forth. We're doing blood tests, we're doing these tests, going to this doctor, to that doctor. At the end, they check everything. Everything is fine. It turns out she does have a little kidney stones, nothing serious, and she has that stomach virus infection, whatever the fuck it is. So they tell us what to do. They give her infusion because she is dehydrated as fuck, and I'm like, because I can't sit with her during infusion, I have to sit out. I'm like, okay, I'll go in front of the hospital. I'll just wait. So at this point, it was 3:30 p.m. And I asked the nurse, that dumbass, I asked her, how long is this going to take? So I can go home if it takes too long, because I can't sit with her anyway. She's like, oh, it's gonna take like, not long. I'm like, okay, is that 10 minutes, 20 minutes? She's like, yeah, it should be fast. I'm like, okay. 1.5 hours later, she finishes. Meanwhile, you know, we're texting here and there, and she's like, I'm fine, I'm feeling better and better, the infusion's helping, great. Meanwhile, as I'm sitting outside, I didn't sleep at that point for over 33 hours. So, I've not slept for 30 plus hours before while gaming, of course, in my younger days and recently. The problem is, I was like actively up, moving, talking, walking, and all that for that long, right? So I start seeing things, how tired I was. This never happened to me. I start seeing like black lightnings in front of my eyes, and I'm like, holy shit. You know, I'm kind of like, holy shit, but I'm also like interested. I'm trying to look at them because this never happened to me, right? So I'm outside sitting at a sidewalk because all the benches and stuff is taken, and I close my eyes and I fall asleep sitting. And I wake up 40 minutes later, and I'm like, I don't know what time it is. I'm like, oh yeah, we're at the hospital. So I'm texting her, how's it going? She's like, oh, it's gonna be another, 30 minutes. I'm like, okay. So I keep going in and out of falling asleep, getting up, and I'm like, completely lost. Like, you know when you just lose track of time and you're just so tired, your brain just doesn't work. Like, you can't keep your head up. So eventually she finishes, and I tell her, like, I need to get home. I'm having... I'm seeing things, you know. She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I'm literally seeing things. Like, I need to sleep. I was like, I'm not joking. I was like, this never happened. And I think it's a mix of like just being tired and all. And I'm like, how are you feeling? She's like, I'm feeling much better. Everything's good, right? So we go home, and I'm like, do you need anything before I fall asleep? Let me know if you need anything. She's like, no, I'm good. Great. I go to bed. I wake up, wait, was that the same day? Yeah, yeah, I go to bed, I sleep for 6 hours. I'm feeling, I'm like refreshed, feeling great, I slept amazing, right? And I'm like, how are you feeling? She's like, oh, I'm still good. At this point, it's like 10, 11 in the evening. I'm like, great. So I guess, we're over the whole thing. She's feeling better. Amazing.
Nothing left in that mineral cluster. Our SCDs are under fire.
Then, she proceeds to vomit 13 times over the next 8 hours. And I'm like, I don't know how to, like, I'm like, what do you want to go to the ER again? Like, what do you want? The thing is, at this point, she doesn't have as much pain. Like, her stomach is upset, right? But it's not like unbearable pain like she had. So I'm like, what do you want me, like, do you want to go to the ER again? What do you want to do? She's like, I'm in no pain, and there's nothing to vomit because she's dehydrated, right? So she's just like, in the bathroom. So obviously her throat starts hurting because of the acid reflex and all that shit. And I'm just like, at that point, I'm just like, I don't know how to help her, So we message our friend, who's a doctor. He knew the whole time she was sick, and he was out giving us some tips. So he says she needs to drink the medicine that they gave her, again. And I'm like, she can't. She instantly vomits. She's like, okay, take Coca-Cola and drink with it. Because for those who don't know, Coca-Cola is so disgusting and unhealthy that they have to put medicine that makes you not vomit. And this is a real thing, by the way. Coca-Cola has so much sugar that if you drank it, you would instantly vomit. But they put some medicine that makes it so that your stomach doesn't instantly puke Coke. This is true, by the way. You can Google this. So the doctor friend says, have her drink medicine with Coca-Cola and don't drink water for a bit. Don't eat anything. This is true, by the way. You can Google it. 100%. Coca-Cola is medicine that makes you not vomit from all the sugar and disgusting shit in the Coca-Cola. When someone told me this, I was like, no. So anyway, so she drinks the medicine and she's keeping the medicine in. Amazing. And I'm like, okay. First thing in the morning, I was like, we're going to a private hospital. Fuck this. We're not going to the... Because, I told her, do you want to go to the hospital? She's like, no, we'll wait till morning. I was like, fuck you. We're going to private. We'll fucking pay for everything. And we'll figure it out.
We're done with the
6 a.m.
command center has been upgraded.
I'm not sleeping much, I'm sleeping here and there. She's not sleeping much. 6 a.m. Oh no, sorry. When we came home from ER, she felt good that day and the next day. And then tomorrow evening, what I just said happened. Meanwhile, tomorrow evening, guess what also happens?
Complete.
Your cutie patootie starts getting sick. And I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me? So the same evening that she was vomiting, I get fever, and I start having stomach
Our forces
pains,
have engaged the enemy.
and I feel dehydrated, but I'm not vomiting. I just feel dehydrated. Like my fluids are just getting sucked into the air. So I start getting shakes, I get fever, and at this was the night where she was vomiting and I'm sick and she's sick, and I'm like, we're going to private hospital in the morning. We go, I'm barely standing. Is this COVID? No, it was a stomach virus. So we're barely standing, and luckily the private clinic is close to our house. So we go there, and I'm like, we need blood drawn, and we need to do a test. Like, I tell them the symptoms and all. They're like, okay. So we go, we do the blood test. They're like, okay, wait outside. It's pretty fast. They're like, wait outside 10 minutes. We'll get the results back. So we get the results. Her results are perfect. At this point, she's kind of feeling better as well. Her results are all in the normal.
We've completely
My results, there's, I don't know what's it called in English, but there's a protein that your body creates when it's fighting off infections. Mine was 14 times increased, right? 14 times increased. So I'm like, the fuck? So a lot of my things were increased. So I'm like, okay. So we get the results, and I'm like, okay, we need a consultation with a doctor to tell us what to do.
120 straight ladder games. I love you, brother.
So we go to the doctor, we ask him what's wrong, what's up, yada yada.
upgrade.
He examines us, and he says like it's some kind of stomach bug. We can do more tests if you want to, but it is nothing serious. You guys had it like really bad, but it's nothing like life-threatening. He writes us like 5 meds each. He gives us medicine to like prevent urge to vomit. He gives us medicine for this, medicine for that, probiotics, active, what is it called? Active charcoal, active coal, I don't know, some other shit. Gives us a specific diet. And we actually managed to retain the medicine, and we start getting better. Now this is where part 2 torture begins. Our diet consisted of baked potatoes and rice with water. No salt, no spices, nothing. Just baked potatoes, and not a large amounts because you don't want to irritate your stomach. So you can imagine, I'm like 85 kilos, right? I'm eating potato this big in 3 spoons of rice a day, and like small spoons. I was starving. Like, I opened the fridge and there's so much stuff inside and I can't eat it. And I'm just like, I was so hungry. This lasted 4 days, by the way, this diet. And I'm just so hungry, you can't imagine. Like, and the only thing I'm drinking is fucking teas, sometimes Coca-Cola and water. And at that point, like, I'm weak all the time. This is when I wasn't streaming, and I told you guys I can't stream. Like, I don't have energy for it. Like, nothing was in pain. Obviously, my stomach didn't feel good, but I wasn't in pain. I just had no energy, you know? So we lose probably 2 to 3 kilos over the next 3 to 4 days. Because of how much we weren't eating. But I was like, I'm not going back to that pain and torture that I've had, because I felt awful. She felt awful, right? So I was like, I'm gonna respect the diet, fuck it. At the start of the diet, I start getting some YouTube stream issues that I won't get into. Doesn't matter, it's resolved. So that's also like stressing the fuck out of me during all of that. And I find out my dad has COVID. So as I'm sick, my dad's condition is getting worse and worse, progressively. So we are slowly getting better. And the first day we got, 4 days fast on fucking potatoes and rice. We literally ate a pizza. I was like, the first thing we eat is pizza and Coca-Cola. Like, I'm so fucking hungry. You have no idea. Like, we were so starved that when I actually started eating pizza, my stomach felt full after like slice and a half because we haven't been eating.
Our nuke is good to go.
So we slowly go back into eating, the medicine worked out, we feel better. So this was like a 6-7 days of fucking torture of being sick. First her, then her and I together. So now, meanwhile I'm dealing with the YouTube stream problem the whole fucking time. It's stressing me out. I'm getting stressed out that I can't stream. I don't know why. Like, it's weird. This is what happens when you're a content creator. I'm not, by the way, I'm not saying like, oh, my job is hard or harder than anyone else's. But when you're streaming for people or creating content daily, I feel terrible when I don't stream. Like, I feel like, oh my god, I'm missing streams. Oh my god, I'm missing YouTube uploads. And I know that I shouldn't, right? I know it's like when people are sick, they're sick, they don't go to work, right? If they can get leave. And that's it. But for me, every day I'm not streaming, I'm more and more stressed because, oh my god, if I don't stream, I'm not gonna have content. If I don't have content, I'm not gonna upload on YouTube. If I don't upload on YouTube, the algorithm's gonna fuck me. Then, back to square one. Then I'm like, the longer I'm not streaming, I'm worse at StarCraft. So then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna play like shit, and then I can't start a series. And then I have to do other stuff. And all these things are constantly bothering me. Meanwhile, I'm stuck at home and I can't do shit because I'm sick, right? So, as I'm getting better, my dad's condition gets worse. And 3 days later, or 3 days ago, sorry, from now, my dad gets admitted to the hospital. My mom just, we were at the birthday party of my niece, and my mom calls and she said that he's at a hospital because he can't breathe properly, so he's in the oxygen. And I'm just like, he's not on the ventilator, respirator, whatever the fuck it's called. He's just using oxygen masks and he's staying at the hospital. And I'm just like, can this week just fuck off? You know what I mean? Like, holy shit. So basically his condition went from nothing to fever to feeling weak to not being able to breathe over the span of like 5 days, 6 days, I don't know, 7 days. And now he's at the hospital. He can't have visitors, obviously, because it's a COVID hospital. He's staying there, and it's just like, when it rains, it pours. Right. That's exactly it. When it rains, it pours. It fucking pours. Like, legit, this week is probably the worst fucking week I've had in a long time. So, yeah, he's at the hospital. His oxygen levels are mostly fine, but he's still there. We're having, like, we have a lot of relatives in the, you know, medical line of work. We know a lot of people that work at the hospital, so we're getting like updates from fucking doctors, from nurses. People are checking up on him. But at the end of the day, it's COVID. It's not like someone can heal him, you know. It's kind of like your body needs to deal with it. I've noticed you look like you lost weight, but didn't want to be rude. I mean, that part was the best part. The fact that I lost weight. So, you know, there's that. Great. I'll probably gain it back again. But you know, I did lose weight. So, yeah, he's there, and you know, there's nothing I can do. That's why I'm here. You know, because some people I talk to from like friends, and they're like, "Oh, just take time off," and I'm like, "What am I gonna do?" You know, like, what am I supposed to do? There's nothing I can do. Might as well stream or do something to fucking kill the time and shit, right? So yeah, it is what it is. It's a fucking shitty week. And the only thing we can do now is wait, you know, not much else. Oh, and to top it off, I'll give you a funny story. Funny story. So my dad gets admitted to the hospital. By the way, he's not like unconscious kind of hospital. He's in a hospital bed. He's breathing through oxygen, but he's not like, you know, I talked to him today. And I can hear him. I was talking to him and I can hear him. He's not good. Like, he's fucking breathing like Darth Vader. So he gets admitted to the hospital 3 days ago, and my mom packs like a bag with clothes, with some medicine, with his phone charger, because you can't bring anything in. Someone needs to bring you stuff in a bit later. And fucking bananas, right? So they leave it in his room in like a drawer next to his bed, and some fucking piece of shit nurse or a doctor, I'm assuming it's a nurse because I've heard multiple stories of nurses doing that shit here at times. So some piece of shit nurse, male or female, doesn't matter, turns out it was a male, went into the fucking drawer, stole his phone, and stole his fucking bananas. Who steals bananas from a COVID patient? Like, I'm sorry, I get that you steal the phone, but what kind of piece of shit you gotta be to steal patients' fucking bananas, dude? Like, imagine. I'm sorry, but, like, honestly, if they stole his phone, I'm like, oh man, you know, like, fucking, they stole his phone. But what pissed me off is they stole bananas. Like, who does that? You know what I mean? I honestly get it, you steal the phone, right? You're gonna sell it for money. But are you that big of a scumbag you steal fucking bananas, dude? To me, that, I don't know why, but that pissed me off. So this is what happens. So my dad, he got admitted in the evening, and in the morning, he calls my mom from an unknown phone, which was from another patient, and he says, my phone is not here. And she's like, no, I left your phone there. And he's like, where? And she says, I left it in between clothes in the bag. So it's not like someone, you know, the phone was here and someone just picked it up. Someone went through his stuff, took the fucking phone and bananas and left the room, right? There's no visitors allowed, so it had to be a nurse, right? So this is what happens. My dad works for a guy that donated machines and computers to that hospital. And my dad's boss knows the director of the fucking hospital. So it's one of those things, you chose the wrong person to steal from, right? So his boss calls my mom, because my dad's not answering, so he calls my mom to ask how he's doing. And she tells him they stole his phone. And he's like, are you serious? And she's like, yes, his phone is gone. He called me this morning, yada yada. And he's like, I know the director of the hospital. I donated stuff to them. Like, he's a friend of mine. And my mom is like, can you please like say something? She's like, this is embarrassing. Like who steals from a patient? You know what I mean? So he calls him. He calls the director, and he says my dad also knows the director of the hospital because my dad went there to fix some shit, right? So he met him. He's not friends with him, but he met him. So 3 hours later, after my mom talked to my dad's boss, the phone magically shows up. Wow! Magically, they just found it. You know? They just found the phone. Wow! Miracle! No bananas, but they found the phone. And my mom asks, where was the phone? And this retard, like I would have just called him a piece of shit right there. But my mom was mad, but she would never cause a scene because my dad is currently in the hospital. If my dad left, she would have caused a scene. But because she's still in the hospital, she didn't want to cause a scene, right? So my mom was like, where's the phone? And this guy says, oh, we saw the phone and we took it in to write it in as one of the personal items. And my mom is just looking at him because she knows that he's lying because the phone was in the bag where the clothes are. Why the fuck are you between his clothes? You know? And he's like, yeah, we forgot to like give it back, but we took it last night to like make sure that all the personal items are written off. And I'm just like if I was there, I'd be like, where are the bananas? Where are the bananas then? If you took it in to write it in, why the fuck did you take bananas? You know what I mean? Like I would just tell him, you're like, because I was so triggered, like the banana thing still triggers me. I was so triggered. Like I would be like, how can you be such a piece of shit to steal a fucking phone and bananas from a patient in the hospital? And you're trying to fucking tell me you're writing it in? Cocksucker. That's what you are. So anyway, the guy gave an excuse. My mom said the moment my dad is out, she's going to write a police report. And there's the bananas. We found them. Marika took them the whole time. So my mom said the moment he's out of the hospital, she's going to write a police report. Because fuck that guy. And I hope he gets fucking fired. Fucking loser. Like, listen, dude. Guys, I know this is going to sound weird. I'm not supporting fucking people stealing stuff. Far from it. But I understand if you're dirt poor, your life gave you shit cards, you had a bad spawn in life, and you have to steal to survive. I get it. But this is someone working at the hospital with COVID patients. Like, literally, fuck you and fuck your whole family. Thank you. So yeah, the phone is back. This shit happens everywhere, mate. Dude, you know what I wish? You know how people always say, like, what do you wish you can do? And they're like, I wish I can save, I don't know, fucking world hunger. I wish I can cure cancer. I know this is weird, but I have a wish to have the power to just deliver justice to shits like this. Like, to just make him lose his fucking job and to never be hired in any hospital again.
Oh, that's hot.
That's what I wish. Because it's just... Ugh. Like, I just wish the assholes got what they deserve in terms of, like, whatever. If it's stealing, like, it's just so scummy. Like, fuck me, it's so scummy. I just can't. It's just so scummy. Probably not the first time he stole from patient too. Of course it's not the first time. Of course. It's just so scummy. Like, I don't know. It just, the situation makes it so much worse in my opinion. It just, yeah, it's beyond fucking scummy. Probably the first time he stole bananas though. No. He saw the banana. He knows the banana quality and he yoinked it. So yeah, I hope my mom doesn't like forget about it and like chickens out of it. I hope she files a police report, and I hope she gets fucking fired. because he deserves it. I don't know how this works regarding like nurses. I don't know or whatever, but I hope he never gets hired again at any hospital. Probably nothing gonna happen out of it, but you know, one can hope. But yeah, that's my story. That's where I've been. It's been a shit 7 to 10 days. Yeah, my dad's phone's back. Can't visit. He's been stable for 3 days. And that's it. We're getting updates every day around 7 p.m. I asked my mom if she wants me to come to the hospital. She's like, don't, because it's a COVID hospital. So, you know, she goes there. She talks to the doctors. And then she goes at 6 and then updates me around 7. So, we'll see. I don't know. We're also getting updates from the people we know that work at the hospital, like throughout the day. We got an update this morning that he was feeling better. And yeah, I know this is silly to say, but again, if I had the chance to pick to be a millionaire or to have the power to just, you know, yeet these people from their positions, I would take that shit anytime. And every time someone's being a dipshit, or not a dip, but you know what I mean, I would just justice serve. I'm also gonna upload this to YouTube because I just like I said, you know, there's not like 100 people, and I need to explain this once and everyone knows. There's a lot of people watching my stream, watching my YouTube videos, and I feel like it's best to just say it on stream. It's on VOD, so if anyone watches, they can see. And also, if it's uploaded on YouTube, everyone will know what happens, because I don't want to have to retell this story. I know a lot of you are interested. A lot of you want to know what's happening, which is fine. I just don't want to repeat this whole thing over and over, because I just hope my dad recovers, and I hope this fucking week, like, as far as shit stuff goes, ends here, and I can move on. Thank you. But yeah, if you're watching this on YouTube, thank you for watching. Sorry that there was no, I guess it was kind of gameplay video, because it was a gameplay video replay, but not me playing, but there it is. Appreciate you all, and thanks for the support. A lot of you guys were super nice. A lot of you guys reached out, so I do appreciate it.
I'm from you.